with y'all. Because I don't want to hear the shit y'all got to say about it right now. I'm making my own decision about something.
I make my own decision of it.
Oh, okay, so you looking at me crazy because I say that about finance.
Yeah.
No
Okay, so we're gonna
wisdom is your
no,
thing
it's pertinent information. Okay, and our
we
generation.
ain't gotta know about we ain't gotta know about your
on the humble,
Yes, sir.
a personal shit. I'm all out there with everything.
I love it. I love it. Are we recording on everything around
Recording
this?
on everything.
We in action right
Dun,
now.
dun,
Hello, TV.
yeah.
How we looking on the
Fire.
mics?
How we looking on the mics? Turn yours up a little bit. Turn yours up a little bit.
Turn you up a notch.
Wait, Lord. Oh, okay.
I think y'all got a good angle on there. But while y'all do that, let me just say welcome to the audience.
Woo! Nice.
You are now tuned in.
So the what?
The what?
The who?
The Cipher.
The Cipher.
The Hyper.
The Humbler.
The Humbler.
Podcast.
Dun,
What the hell is the cipher?
This, my friend, is the Cipher, the infinite Cipher. See, many in the culture of hip hop you will call when you come into a circle and you share high level conscious ideas together amongst each other in the form of poetic hip hop rap. They will call that the cipher.
He started talking like that.
Yeah.
It's on the edit.
Couple of lines, yeah.
Yeah. They will call that the
Spit
cipher.
right there.
Yeah. So, when you come into the ether of greats, you're always going to create a cipher. And from that cipher, there will be knowledge for you to pull to give to the next generation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
So
Yes.
we welcome you to the Humbler.
Slap you across your head with some knowledge.
I am your host.
Welcome
This
to
is the co-host. This is my other co-host. And this is our guest.
Special guest.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, baby.
Special guest.
Yeah.
How you
Long
been
time
doing?
coming.
How you been doing, look?
Well, I'm doing well.
Yeah, man. We missed
I've been hearing
you
about
on
this podcast
side.
for like for some time.
It's been some time.
Yeah, it has. I'm finally here, so I'm ready to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man.
Which way is up on them? Which way?
Up is that way, down is that way.
Bring it all the way up.
Bring it up.
But yeah. I'm gonna let AJ start it off with the first topic, and then we'll go around off that.
Yeah, man. What you got for us
What's
today?
on your mind?
The first topic, man, just going through growth this past year has been different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just growing with me and the Lord and understanding that, you know what I'm saying, just you really can't lean on man for a lot. You can't lean on man for a lot, but just lean on God. And I was asking Jay a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, does it take time to become wise, or can you be gifted wisdom? Like, you can be gifted wisdom, but it's like, can you have it early? You have wisdom at an early age without time.
I think that is possible.
And we have one example, but this is a special occasion, and that is Solomon. Where he was already going to become a king, and God came to him in a dream and asked him what he wanted. Well, he asked for wisdom so that he can judge God's people. So God said, I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give you riches. I'm going to give you everything. So then, after that, he ended up having a court case. And 2 women was coming up, and it was one child. And they was arguing over whose baby it was. So, out of wisdom, he said, I tell you what, we're going to slay the baby since y'all can't choose. One woman was with it, the other one was like, no. He's like, oh, that's your baby. So is it possible? Yes. Under special occasion. Under the special occasion of God, out of his grace, applying wisdom to somebody. Other than that, it is through experience that we have to gain the wisdom. That's why the phrase says that a wise man ain't nothing but a fool.
I think that's 3 things y'all mentioned. You just said that you can gain it. You can also been influenced by God spiritually, and then you also mentioned from just birth or something, or just having the wisdom.
Yeah, like an adolescent.
Yeah, I think that's 3 things, because he's talking about from an adolescent, just having that innate.
I don't think so.
Wisdom is what he's saying.
I don't think so.
I don't.
Because we make foolish decisions as kids.
We do, but
Yeah. Well,
your biggest dreams from when you was a kid, for people that still attaining those dreams,
Hmm.
that isn't some type of wisdom
You
to
might have a wisdom moment, yeah. But to gain wisdom, like okay, because when you asking that, are you saying he's full of wisdom,
not full of
or
it,
he's
but
make a wise decision?
making wise
I
decisions.
think we all make wise decisions through life. I believe that. But you say, are they born? Can they be born with it?
Like at an early age.
I mean,
You
early
can
age
have
is a
some
different.
wisdom. You can
Yeah.
have some.
Wisdom, but I don't think it's crazy. That's why I say it's a special occasion, right? Because
Cause okay, I put it in the sense of just a basis.
Mm-hmm.
We all from the hood,
right,
all four of us.
Yeah, man.
The wisdom that I watched, y'all know I watched my homie, I ain't gonna say his name, but he got 4 more years. He been doing 15 years now.
mm-hmm.
I watched that
Okay.
from you know what I'm saying?
So you proving my second point. Go ahead.
And it's just like, because of your second point, was it that he lacked what I had as far as wisdom and guidance?
Well, did you have the wisdom? Because let me ask you this: did you want to go?
Cause that's you. I'm actually putting myself in a hole here.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie to you, cause it's coming to me
Yep.
as I'm talking.
Yeah.
But just that innate nature sometimes, like when he used to get in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which
you
one?
went your brother,
Oh.
and he'd get in trouble. You like, you know what? I ain't even finna do that. Cause he just got his butt toe up.
Experience, like I said.
Experience from another's.
Yes.
Okay.
It could be your own experience or learning from somebody else. If I
But
see
now,
somebody
see-
go bump their head in
Right.
that same spot, I might make a decision and say, oh, I'm not finna do that. So yeah, by having that experience,
Some people I give.
But see, I
No,
think
actually.
that when you watch somebody else do it, that's an example of wisdom in itself. Because the foolishness of somebody, and that's what I always think. I think of wisdom as like the difference of what you do with knowledge. Right?
exactly.
So if you have the knowledge,
Wisdom
you
is the
can-
application.
because if you're ignorant, you can't act foolishly or wisely on the information that you don't actually
know.
have, right? But if you have the information, then now it's your choice to act wisely upon it or to act foolishly upon it. So sometimes we end up feeling, or not even feeling like, but choosing to go through the experience even though we already know what the outcome potentially
That
will
part
be.
right there.
And that in itself is a foolish act.
Okay.
But for someone to see something and be like, I already know that happened to this person, I would expect it to go down in that particular way. Let me not do it for myself to try to find out if hot water is hot. You know what I'm saying? That's a wise
That would have
decision.
saved a lot of
You know
people.
what I'm
lives.
saying?
That's what I'm saying.
But it's like you're not that. I think that is something that's a special gift in itself, and I also think that parents miss the opportunity to instill wisdom in children at a young age. Because like when I look at like terrible tools, or like when you turn 5 more specifically, because 5 is like when they're always asking like the most questions.
Right.
But we're not educated enough ourselves to be able to answer a lot of those questions, or we don't have the
Exactly.
not just the experience, but sometimes the patience to explain things to the depth of what that 5-year-old brain needs to be able to really make the connections, to be able to make a wise decision in the future with all the parameters, the different angles that are included in the, whatever might be the outcome of said decision. So I think it can be installed earlier and earlier, because I feel like I am in a sense a product of that. But and as I've been that, I've watched a lot of people do dumb things that I know like that's gonna be the outcome.
Right.
But and I tell them that they heard that. I feel like they know that, but they like, I want to see myself.
I'm still
because I'm young. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
exactly. And see, that's what I was saying, because when you say it's not from a person that don't have the knowledge, well, the Bible says we suffer from lack of knowledge. So there's a food out of lack of knowledge as well. And that goes to the point of me as a parent might not have enough knowledge to give that child that's at 5 and give them enough to teach them the ways of the Lord so that it not depart from them. So the ways of God do not depart from them. Meaning they're going to grow up in foolishness.
Right.
And they're going to start believing things that are not. You see what I'm saying? So we all on point. It's a special case. Like I'm saying, it's like because you have a child that has a wise parent and they don't want to listen to him at all.
Well, I get it.
You know what
I
I'm
get
saying?
it. I'm gonna ask a question. This is bouncing off AJ, because when you asked that question, I feel like he was insinuating something else as well. I guess that would be: do you think some people are born with the inclination more to like having wisdom than others? Because there's of course we have some people, as they would say. Believe it or not, I don't know what everybody beliefs are, but the old soul. You've been here before, reincarnation. You must have been here like 6-7 years, because there's kind of like this innate thing about somebody where they're just more inclined. Damn, we're doing the show. That's me.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to publicly apologize to everybody.
Stop it.
Ain't right. I'm thinking like I know that was in my home where I'm from.
Yeah.
That little motherfucker would have been told to shut up, after the 3rd or 4th time, but like, just sit your ass down. But what this guy did, he answered every fucking question. I swear to you, that kid was on question 115, and he still answered.
Mm-hmm.
I was like appalled, like damn, like the patience that he demonstrated, the attentiveness that he gave this kid. Even just the relationship that he's building with this kid, just that the kid is able to be present with his father and not been thrown off. And I was just like, wow.
Right.
I remember telling myself, I want to check in to see how that kid doing later on. I wish I had done that shit so I could be like, give a report.
Want to see the
And
result.
now, Mr. CEO.
Right.
Under Enterprise.
No, for real.
Look at him now. Look at him now.
Let's see the result of it.
But
Exactly.
I guess to bounce off what you're saying, all I'm saying is that you're saying how wisdom is instilled. It can be instilled in somebody, right?
Yeah.
By just giving that information. And that's very true. Because and I know that it seems like we talk about spiritual stuff on here, so I can go to the Bible.
Right.
All right, we go ahead and go to Proverbs 13.
Okay.
Look, he about to go.
Because I got the act.
But even with the Bible, I think God really emphasized the importance of telling history to the next generation.
Absolutely.
And by doing that, it is passing on knowledge, even though it's just one entity. Whatever Abraham went through was what Abraham went through. Moses went through was what he went through. Whatever this king did is what he did. But however, this historical moments is passed over. The history is given to the next generation.
They had their differences.
I guess it's just the purpose, the benefit of history. And I think the Israelites, they demonstrate that in a good way, and the important lessons that was learned. It's an opportunity for that generations to learn something without having to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what great-great-granddaddy and them did when they was in the wilderness, and they didn't listen to
in the wilderness.
They didn't listen to shit what he said. And
They brought that goat.
He gave their asses fishes and everything.
That's why the ultimate weapon
Yeah.
for the destruction of the community has always been to erase or distort history. Because, I was talking to my dad on the way to Detroit. We're listening to that book I was talking about.
Yeah.
And we're going into the history of slavery and its impact on the creation of American capitalism, right? And the way we view capitalism, the stock market, property, loans, mortgages, all stem very much so from how they utilized us as stock and property to secure loans, securitize.
Mm-hmm.
Security.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Stock, hands, backs, feet. They use all that terminology to commoditize
That's
the
right.
human being, right? But that's the same way that we do everything now. and we talk about employees in the terms of finance and the stock market, as we categorize them as human capital. That term is not a new term. It's a term that they came up with back then,
It is
1800s.
1817.
That's right.
So to distort what we know and limit history to just Civil War, Reconstruction, Abraham Lincoln, and not to talk about the depth of everything that combined to create that ultimate outcome, is partially what separates it. It continues to keep that wedge of that 400 years
Yeah.
of a gap in terms of us catching up. You know what I mean?
And that's why-
this podcast. This is igniting me on everything. It's getting me started.
Bring it.
I got some shit to say. Pull up the motherfucker. Yeah, did it 1831.
For real.
No, yeah. I'm sorry. I gotta interject on that one because I was just. I'm a bit of a nerd. I like to just read random shit for the hell of it.
Right.
But there's several things, goddamn, that I gotta say about that right there. And that damn book. What is the name of that book? A lot of black people, y'all need to read this. Whatever that book is, when they talked about the mechanism of slavery and how they designed what the whole intention, taking the husband, the guy away from the female.
Oh, you're talking
and
about
building the fear within the female.
Nah.
How you beat the
He's
Jim
talking-
Jim Crow.
yeah.
No.
I-
Willie Lynch letter.
Willie
He's talking about the
Lynch
Willie
letter.
Lynch
Yeah.
letter.
Lynch.
Mhm.
That's some history.
No, that's important because that's so crazy because they talked about how it instilled fear into the women, which
right.
was generation after generations. But then you said something like three things that happened, y'all. So y'all gotta forgive me in my fucking brain. But I was thinking of that. But then I remember back in college, I wrote this play called The Magnoism, right? And it was during Black History Month. And I did some research, and it came to it after doing all of the research, I started to realize that starting Black history in 1619 was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was a problem. It was a problem. And so I came up with this play. And I'll give shout outs to Matthew Chaffee. You came up with the name if you see this. But I told him my idea. He came up with the name Magnoism. Thank you.
Right,
Matthew
right,
Chaffee.
right.
Thank you. But it talked about those kind of issues, right? But when I did the research, I was like, okay, so we don't mention the golden age of Africa. You don't mention anything about the University of Timbuktu. These are just us kids. We in class, and out of every race, that's where my motherfucking history is starting at. It's from 1619. Not only that, it's pessimistic because then you get this image of some British people coming to West Africa or something, and then they just invading some shit. No, first of all, Africa is a continent, many different countries. They have differences with each other. They don't agree on the same shit.
Right.
That's right.
Okay.
Tribe against
Okay,
tribe.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and, and so you have some rich kings and stuff who actually sold the slaves, worked with the people and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's all of that kind of information matters. But then it goes further to like even doing the civil rights, right, and things a little bit before that too. I personally think leaving out the white people that was important at the time is something that.
In what perspective?
Yeah, because you have like the Puritans. You had the Puritans.
Okay.
And all these other like different sects of the religion that was kind of during the Reformation period. So a lot of people deviated from the the Catholic churches and whatnot. But a lot of them would do things like helping the slaves, like read, teaching them how to read, and all this other stuff. And I had a list of stuff. I probably should have had that shit ready if I knew I was gonna. They said that this is kind of organic, and the notes that they got right now, I didn't know it was gonna go this direction. Yeah. But that within itself, imagine being in a class, you in the third grade, and you learning about Black history, and you learn that white people and Black people fought. That changes the game.
Yeah.
That changes the game. It's no longer just Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, only Black motherfuckers who try for the cause. You know what I mean? It's humanizing everyone and making sure that we realize that on each side there is a so-called evil perspective or on side, and not including that. I feel like personally had an influence on me. Not including anything about the golden age of Africa had an influence on me because I don't know shit about my history.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Now I got on this fucking website and found out that I'm 70% Nigerian or some shit, you know.
Right.
And it's nice to go read back on some shit, but
Yeah.
still, it ain't like the way it should have
Do
been.
you
I think that's the
was that 23andMe that you did?
23andMe, what's that?
nope.
What's
The
what?
little DNA thing. Or which one
He's
did you
saying,
do?
what did you use? Ancestry.com?
Ancestry.
Ancestry.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That,
I gotta do
was
that.
it 23andMe that got shut down, or was it?
Yeah,
No, it was
yeah.
Ancestry.
No, it was 23.
It was 23andMe. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That was crazy. She probably heard
They had a
that.
data leak, but we're not gonna get into that.
But see, that's that.
guess I'll
Back
just-
to his point though. That's the reason why secret societies, um, um, Ivy League schools, right, is necessary so that we don't get to the information necessary because
To have a
once we
complete
get
mind.
the wisdom from the knowledge that we gain from the early conversation, we don't fall victim anymore to whatever the cause is to keep us from growing. Because there's a set of people. He was talking about earlier how they are the creators, right? They was just innovators, just getting into things, and then they started to capitalize off that. They started to create institutions out of that.
They started to create capitalism
Yeah, and capitalism and all of that.
from the Renaissance.
But we can't let a group of people understand who they are because they are the human capital, which every president has, well, not every president, but majority of presidents come out and they make an announcement on the importance of teachers in regards of the human capital. All right, so this capitalism, regards of what he's talking about, is going to the stocks with our birth certificates and them being able to securitize that and create this imaginative money that's not even there out of thin air. This is what America is built on. We are built on the assumption of money being there. All right, it's an illusion. It's legal fiction. It's the blur line that is creating a separation between those who know what's really going on versus those who think they know what's going on and those who are just absolutely, just completely out of the picture.
I think I know why I don't like finance, Jalen. Because I really don't know it.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to just listen
Y'all
to
get
this.
more understanding.
It irritates me.
You should go back and watch some episodes.
But you should
I was a student.
understand it.
Hey,
I know, but
I was a
that's
student
why I
for a
looked at you
while.
all of that terminology I just like make human capital.
But that's
the
good.
point. But
Yeah.
that's,
Right.
no,
I
but
don't
that's
like
the
it.
point of it.
We're making that point right now. The knowledge of understanding it.
Listen,
it
what I
breaks-
do know during the Industrial Revolution, I know it all started over there. And then I know that at the social economic statuses started fucking, there was a big gap, factories separating families, right? And all this shit that's going on. I forget who, Marxism. Marxist?
Oh, come on.
Marxist with the book he wrote. So I know Industrial Revolution, of course, some of you may know, but what I would say early to 1600s, 1700s?
1700.
1700. So during that moment, the inventions of factories and all this other stuff, I think that was the introduction of the rich and the poor, and
Right.
and it's the first introduction of family dynamics changing because now you're no longer there.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back because let
Yeah.
me take it to where I took it before we even started, where he was alluding to. So, the future of money and the
shit.
future of the economy, which is what you're actually speaking of. If we're talking about a family unit, if we're talking about the socio-economic relationship of people versus one class versus another class, we're talking about finances and we're talking about economics, simultaneously talking about history. And so what I did was I went back to the Renaissance era and I spoke about how in the Renaissance era, the title of an occupation could be painter, it could be philosopher, it could be a scientist happily, it could literally, that's
That
when
could be one person.
yeah, that's what the term Renaissance man refers to.
Exactly.
One person who is all of those different things. But how different are those occupations versus a factory worker versus an electrician versus a grocery store grocer? You know what I'm saying? So what now there was always grocers, merchants, right? There were always various, farmers, these different things. But what these creative and that creative era of the Renaissance did was it created a cylinder, a container for industry. And those creative ideas that were created jobs along with it.
It did.
And that paved
Absolutely.
the way for the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah.
in which the change of the collective mindset across the world went from such a creative, pioneering, intuitive
Yeah.
type of way to just how do I contribute to someone else's dream?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that dream was ultimately to build the society that we now have the privilege of living in, where we have the streets, the trains, the cities, the interconnected way
The
of being able
scientific
to,
studies,
the
all of that.
logistics
Yeah.
of trucks going here to there,
That most
shipping.
of us did. Us,
But
black
what-
people. Us. Just remember that. Us.
But in that we showcased our abilities as masters of the universe
Tell 'em,
in
AJ.
the human race, right? And granted, everything you just said, right?
Man.
But now the question is, when those things have all been said and done, what do we do now? Because everybody's got this issue with where the economy is at this point because jobs are being lost. Technology, artificial intelligence is on the rise and is getting ready to displace jobs, maybe create new ones. But that happens every time, right? So industrial revolution to the technical revolution, you had a lot of jobs that disappeared, but then new jobs that were created by way of the internet.
Yeah.
And it's hard for previous generations to understand this generation's desire and almost requirement to find some type of form of occupation or monetization through the internet. But that's because this is taking the place of the Industrial Revolution, for which the infrastructure is already set.
Exactly.
There's no longer any need for human interactivity for most of the day-to-day jobs that once required it because of robotics, technology, artificial
I
intelligence.
almost get that bad rep for y'all. I almost just said Elon Musk is the Antichrist. I don't want anything to
Don't
happen.
get us on the airwaves now.
Please, that was, sir. I'm just expressing. It's a joke. I guess I said that because of the damn robots. You know?
No, seriously though.
But he's not
because-
alone, and it's a race economically because it's a matter of national defense when it comes to all of that stuff. So countries in themselves are acting collectively as the Antichrist to bring forward whatever is coming next. But I say all that to say that the new thing is the digital age, the crypto age, and that's where we're going next. And as we get further from the Industrial Revolution age, the way that we typically think about occupations, jobs, purpose in life has to fundamentally change. And the way that we think about monetary value and how we share, distribute, and exchange value and things in between that has to change.
that has to literally not only change but be corrected. Because
That's
this monetary value in which it has been exchanged is not being fully disclosed, meaning the value that is added to things in regards of our rights to that value, we're being lied to. So this is a lot of the problem too when it comes to like China buying our bonds, right? And then when they're ready to cash in, our system don't have any trace of where those bonds are located now, because we have the ability to take a bond that we have sold
Okay,
and
but-
sell it to somebody else.
But why are bonds important? Because do you know?
I do not know why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's something with security, right?
Well,
With
to an extent.
securitization, it's a lot of things to go with
I
that.
don't-
That's a
I
deep
don't like-
conversation.
No, it's
I
not
don't
even
like
that
the
deep. It's
finance.
not even that deep. Let me give it to you.
We'll go through this. It's
So
not
look.
deep, so spit
So
it.
check this out. If we're going to trade as a country versus a country,
Mm-hmm.
America and China.
Yeah.
Typically, historically, you give me barley, whatever the case is. What I would trade it for you is whatever its weight in gold.
Okay. Yeah.
We no longer use gold
Right.
as a exchange 1-to-1 because we are now in a debt system.
Yeah.
We say I owe you instead of I'll just pay you.
Yeah, that happened some years ago. I think I'm just bringing some memories.
Centuries.
Centuries.
No, I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
Centuries
this is
ago with the
centuries.
debt thing.
Yeah, man.
How's
We
that?
been in
Because
the debt
Woodrow
system.
Wilson and all these other presidents are just kind
Now-
of like after 1945, we saw like a
That's what they told
economic
you. You got-
boost. No, that's not what they told us what happened.
He's
Like,
right.
You know, there was a
He's
boost,
right.
and so
There was a
And I can
fundamental
see-
shift from a total.
I can see simultaneously some shit happening, but there was a boost, nigga.
Yeah. No. You're right. You're right. In the time frame that you're talking about, 1913 more specifically, when the institution of the Federal Reserve was officially instated,
What
and
president
then
was that?
1930 something.
Right before Roosevelt. So
Jackson? No,
We'll
Jackson
get
was
really
after.
caught up in that one.
I
We'll get-
forget.
Hamilton.
I forget right off the top. I forget right off the top.
1913.
1913. Right. This is when we were starting to get into going into a whole nother different monetary system.
I don't believe that. World War One was 1914 and 1918.
But the debt to a system, right? We're talking about the
system.
debt
No,
to a
okay,
system.
Hold on. Think about this. Think about all the correlations you're speaking.
Google it.
Let me tell you this. No, let me tell you this. It goes back even further. than that.
Yes.
Okay, it goes back further than that. The battle for America and sovereignty is typically a battle to get away from under the umbrella of the rich, who is actually those who are in power of the central banking systems.
Yeah.
The central banking systems have existed long before America even necessarily was created. That's why we had the Boston Tea Party in the first place. It was
Yeah.
the taxes, not from England, but from the England Central Bank. That is why we ended up revolting. We had our own payment system here in the colonies. So you go from there to the Civil War. Lincoln wasn't just dealing with slavery; he was dealing with economic expansion.
Yeah, that's
And
for
how
sure.
do we deal with that on top of the fact that they were going through an economic crisis?
Yes.
Because the stock, which was cotton and slaves, was on the fringes, and it was on the track to knock the entire economic power and balance of the Americas and the world off its balance, because we were one of the major, if not the major, exporters. So him dealing with that on top of bringing back the greenbacks, which were actually backed by gold,
Yeah.
was the reason he got shot in the head.
Right.
Well, that's you know what. I think this is a good example of something here. I mentioned earlier I don't like finance of conversation, right? It gives me a fucking headache, right? But I've come across this topic before some years ago with some college buddies, and we used to talk about this all the time. I think most of us is guilty of this, and this is where the shit needs to stop. Probably is like that frustration. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anything that we don't want to just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And it works, and it defeats us at some
Exactly.
moment. I'm guilty of that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but some biology, I love to talk about some motherfucking biologies and some shit like that. You know, I'm all down for it. But when we get to this kind of topic, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe that energy we was talking about that's displayed in different ways.
Yeah.
I got to mix some anxiety and fear and some more shit.
Yeah.
But it's like I just get agitated. I don't know why that happens. I get agitated, but I get what you're saying.
No, you know what it is? It's a overstimulation. Because as I was telling my dad, like, he's talking about education, how education needs to change. He's an educator, for y'all that don't know. And I'm like, of course, I agree with that. And knowing where the future is going, where the displacement of jobs is happening more rapidly than the education system can actually adapt to it, that on itself is one part of frustration. But then we're talking about what's changing in the education system as a whole. He's got a student that used to play basketball for him that he wants to do HVAC or electrician, all of that stuff. And that, for the moment, seems to be the more prominent and more promising path to take, as opposed to the path that you took, right? Because the amount of time and debt that it requires to go through what you went through, with the lack of clarity that there's going to be something on the other side for you the moment you're ready to enter the workforce, at this point, it just makes more economic sense to go to something exactly, right? But however, those trades are not going to be here forever, and people do not know it. You've got self-driving vehicles, 18-wheelers, and people are talking about they got their CDLs. You got 3D printed houses that they're making, and they all are more efficient than regular houses. They're fireproof, and they are more cost efficient on energy. And so those jobs are getting ready to be taken, but nobody's talking about that. And to go through that whole cycle, that whole spiel,
To end up on the other end and
that
find
just
nothing.
that made his brain fire, wired out. He was like, man, you know what? I can't even watch some more of this. Because it's too much stimulation and it's overpowering, and the fact that it's all happening right in your face, but under your nose, over your head, and under your nose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying
It
to
makes
get to
you
the
want to
big-
fight
big
somebody,
heads.
and you're like, you know what? Let's not talk about this no more. But
You gotta know about it.
because you got to protect yourself for what's coming next.
Exactly.
You gotta
Because
educate yourself into the new
And it's coming so
industrial
fast.
I need
revolution.
to ask, later on, I need to ask a question about that Boston Tea Party.
Ask you right now.
Because you mentioned the bank thing involved, right?
Yeah.
Because something I had read, it was because we know what French, Spanish, Dutch, British, like
Yep.
all over
Yep.
here, right?
Perusia, yeah.
Yeah, all over here. And there was a big French Indian War against like the British or something like that. And then like after the British, I guess, won, I know the expenses was really fucking high. And that influenced the Boston Tea Party as well. But then you mentioned just the central bank and all that stuff. Yeah, something like that. I don't know all those other details like
this,
that.
peep
I don't,
this.
I don't- I
Yeah,
don't know.
Peep this,
I
peep
know
this.
like the general shit, but I don't know all
Peep
that other
this.
shit.
At the time, Napoleon Bonaparte
Oh, my homie.
was actually in power in France.
French Revolution.
Br-
Guy, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They were having an economic situation as well. And it was because the central bank and Britain were trying to force that upon them. Right.
They got rid
And
of that.
that's why they were fighting there.
Fuck the feudal system.
That's also the reason why Napoleon sold us the Louisiana Purchase
Right.
Yep.
to help fund his war without having to go to those banks. So the reason why I'm bringing up these banks,
Uh-huh.
the reason why I'm bringing up these banks is for them to stay alive, they must create debt.
They have to
Because
create
debt is what they monetize.
Yeah.
Same way people monetize subscription services, they monetize debt. And debt comes in the form of a mortgage. It comes in the form of a
payment
lease. It comes in the form of a bond.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm
back to
saying?
bond.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so the more debt they can issue, the more power they can have over whoever they're issuing to. And when they're issuing,
Bingo.
when they're issuing to entire countries, when they're issuing into entire countries, that's entire civilizations that they have power over.
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
Human capital, once again. And these central banks are typically also privately owned and invested in. So the Federal Reserve of the United States is not owned by the United States.
And
No.
They have shareholders. So they get paid dividends on the debt that they issue. The game is to continue issuing debt as much as possible. And what creates a need for debt? One, economic crises. Two, next best thing, war.
that's a whole
War is
different
number-
topic.
War is number
that
one.
makes sense,
War is
I
number
guess,
one.
right?
War is number one.
Well, it makes
Because-
sense
okay,
why so
because,
much
Chris,
stuff
because-
is like constructed the way to appear the way it is when it's
That's
right. So when we
You
talk
go
about
back
those
to
wars,
Civil War,
right.
Revolutionary,
Yeah.
when you go to every single war for the
Yeah.
most part,
the banks got
World War
position.
One, World War Two,
Yeah.
and that's why you start to see more and more debt balloon every single time
Yeah.
because that is the requirement
Yeah.
to keep the game going.
Same reason why there's wars now.
I never went
Yep.
that deep to connect it like that. Okay, this is a humble show, so I can be honest. So I think part of I'm going to tell y'all something. I think part of my pet peeve, it has a lot to do with my brother over here. L and I, we both geeks, right? Nerds, but he's more all over the place than I am. But yeah, he is. But I'm strong in what I do. But he's a real nerd. So what happened with us growing up? I guess you could attest to this. he's the third wheel, right?
Mhm.
There was some topics that I don't know about, and I don't like talking about it because I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he will always talk about this shit, and then when he say the word Illuminati, I just be like, I don't want to hear this shit.
I don't say Illuminati that much no more. But you know, they just invited me again.
Right.
The Centuries and the
Hey, listen. Cause, bro, you have to understand who is the masters, man. You have to understand. I'm just trying to tell you. Listen. Yeah, look.
That, that's a powerful statement though, because that's the same thing that's wrong with our black culture.
Yeah.
That fear is a fear thing or
Yeah.
something. We let a certain pet peeve, a certain emotion block us
It did-
from
From
sitting
learning.
down and going through the.
So that's
Bro,
that's what I've been realizing.
That's how they got us with Trump right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
They have an emotional trigger
Yeah.
that they've put into as many different races or minorities or anybody that has ever been done bad in America, and they have painted him as the ultimate emotional trigger to the point to where when they do things in front of you, they can do it with the most boldness they've ever had, and then make you sit there and take it, even though you know in your heart and your psychology that if this was Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack
Said
Obama,
that. He just had a little speech like that. That if it was me, it was a nice speech, but he kept reverting back. And if it was me who did X, Y, and Z, if it was me, and he went through a long list.
but you know what? But you know what? It was him, and it started with him.
It did.
Because the moment they brought him in, they utilized it in the opposite way, and that's how Trump got
Setting
to
the stage up. You mean? Or something
Yeah,
like that?
well, it's like, okay, so there's an emotional trigger with racism, sexism, and all these things when it comes to Trump, to the point to where when he says something, you don't even want, even if it made sense, you didn't want to hear it, right? Even if it was something that was potentially being portrayed as something that will help you, you don't want to hear it. And rightfully so, because you shouldn't trust the government when they say they trying to do some shit to help you a lot of the times, regardless, right? And so, going back to Obama, let's go to Obamacare, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of people that love the Republican version of Obamacare, but it was always Obamacare, even though it became the Republican version. They always loved the idea and the concept of what Obamacare was. They just didn't want it from a black man because he was black. They was playing on those same racial strings on those same white people who came out and voted for Trump later on. And it was all planned in my view because Trump is the first one who came out talking about, is he really from America? You know what I'm saying? Is it this and that? So he was already playing to a potential voting base that existed right there based off of the dislike and the embedded racism already there that was being showcased. They was out in the streets for the first time protesting when Obama won. And that same thing that you saw when Trump won versus when Biden won, that all started from the Obama era. And they took the tactics that Obama used. He had it in an organic way because Facebook and all that stuff was still young. You could do it that way. But by the time Obama was out of office, they had already took Facebook, Google, and all these different platforms to the DOJ, you know what I'm saying, to the district, and had them basically bend it to their will in terms of access to information, personal information, and being able to censor content. And so we went throughout the Trump administration talking about fake news, and then Biden's administration with everything being censored. And now we come out on the other side not knowing where all of this actually started. And it really started with Obama. It's not his fault necessarily, but they found some tools and techniques out in the midst of that transition from that industrial revolution to the technical.
Are we talking about with the Obama administration, or are we just talking about that time period? Like, with certain power, like other powers.
We're talking about both because we're talking about the Hope campaign, the Change, I Am Change campaign.
Yeah.
They were able to make that very powerful by looking at what the analytics said on social media for what people wanted and what their potential constituents wanted, and in trying to create a black coalition around the movement. What type of phrases, what type of philosophies can we come behind to potentially get us in office, on top of the fact that they were dealing with a financial crisis bubbling at the same time, right? So being able to look into that analytics and find out exactly who we're targeting, how to target them, and how to get them to mobilize and actually come out and vote, which prior to Obama, you couldn't get black people out to vote much. And then after Obama, you still couldn't get black people out to vote as much. But Trump was able to get poor white people out to vote as much because they were the ones who felt like they were misrepresented when Obama won. And he knew that and knew how to target them by using the same tactics that the Obama administration used via analytics with the various social media platforms.
I have like 5 or 6 questions, and I don't think that we're gonna.
He
Yeah,
did.
I don't think I have a time to even ask these questions. I got like 5 or 6 of them because, and then see that's why I don't typically like this. That's another reason why I don't like this topic. But dang it, we don't have time for the
We
questions I
do.
have. Well, look, y'all niggas do. I mean, y'all do it for like an hour or something or
We
two
only have
hours.
45 minutes. If you stop
And they
talking
tell
about how
us
you ain't
30
got time, you'll have it.
And niggas, shut up. 30 minutes to an hour.
It's
They
about
say-
3 shows. I've been watching about 3 episodes.
Okay.
Man,
So
look,
that's
I'm looking
like
at I'm
an
looking
hour
at the
and
time.
going
Okay,
on
okay,
an hour
so-
20.
We have to stop for a
Well,
second.
this is another thing I want to. As far as Trump, wasn't there a report that there was an increase of black votes or something with the Trump?
Yes,
this
that's
last
because
time?
the people are starting to
Comparatively
realize
speaking.
what's
Yeah.
going on
But
in
because
regards.
he also used the same
Democracy.
tactic very well. He actually spoke to what a lot of people were feeling economically, including black people. And the Democrats just decided to use Megan Thee Stallion.
Well,
and a couple of
that's
others.
that's a little
No,
a
for
little
real.
fraction of it. There's another community that is coming to the
That's what-
full acknowledge of what's really going on with democracy and the lies behind democracy. You see what
and,
I'm
and
saying?
that's still part of it
Yeah.
because Trump is not there to fix that issue
At all.
But he knew the right things to say to tap into that particular constituency, and that constituency is the conspiracy theorist. That's what they call them. But he knows how to talk to them, and he knows how to mobilize them and get them out to vote, even if his intentions aren't necessarily to do what they think he's trying to carry out.
And Kamala Harris didn't help
And
it.
then the
They basically
conspiracy
just want
theories.
something different versus
We're
what-
talking
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same people.
They
Yeah,
didn't
same
really-
people.
Constituents is just a potential voter.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So that base, conspiracy theorists in various forms, has always been his strongest base. People who believe in a deep state, people who believe that Obama wasn't American, people who believe that fake news,
That was
people who
ridiculous.
believe in what's the name?
Nah, that was just
Epstein.
That was just them dumb.
Every conspiracy
Say
theory
dumbass.
that
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah,
He
that was
sound
just
like
the
Chris.
dumbasses.
Thank you.
That was just the dumbasses. Cause them same people you were asking for proof of why, and they don't got shit to say.
Yeah, that's just like with
Then-
the
But then when you bring up Trump situation, a lot of motherfuckers act like Trump people ain't slick Germans and Russians and shit.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but let them tell it they're American, but you'll show them proof and they be like, nah, that's same them lies. But we'll show proof that Obama American, they be like, nah, that's lies. You know what I'm saying? Them same stupid motherfuckers.
Later on,
just wanna
I
believe what
do
they
want
wanna
to talk
believe.
about the precursors that we talking about in the Obama administration up to Trump. I do
Yeah.
have questions about that. You might be teaching me something that I have not connected.
You go ahead.
But I don't want. I'm sorry.
I mean,
know
just
y'all
gonna get it
got
out the
an hour.
way.
I know y'all
Yeah.
like that, but I don't want to fucking talk about that. Right now. Don't you have like a third bullet point?
No, I ain't got
Yeah.
no. The third bullet
Yeah.
point is what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
What?
You got something that you like talking about more than finance and all of that stuff?
Well, go back to the list. Go back to the list because I thought I saw a
The
third bullet point.
benefits of staying in Florida.
That's
How
a
is
good one.
Florida?
That's a good one. I like
Well, that would be talking about sobriety.
How is
Yeah,
Florida?
but everybody in here is not sober.
No, that's a good one. That's
I am.
Oh, alrighty. Well, L, go ahead. Go ahead, get up,
you
sir.
can treat me like I'm sober. I don't never get too out of
But
myself.
no. But in all seriousness, was there a third point that AJ had right there? Though? I thought it was
It
finance
was,
and
but
something
it was
else.
real general, and I think that you
Go
a
to the
guest.
topic.
I think that you a guest,
Yeah.
and people don't know who you are really. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Y'all just know that this is our cousin, and obviously we family because we can get into it real quick. But
Yeah.
this is my older cousin.
Yeah.
This is my guru cousin's little brother,
Yeah.
and he helped raise me and these nuggets over here. And
Why you ain't the nugget? Why you ain't say us niggas?
well, I'm more like a tender these days.
Bro, you a McNugget.
A McNugget.
Put it down.
Why you ain't a nut?
But yo, a
So-
very intelligent individual. This brother I've always looked up to, and this one as well, for many of the same reasons. Man, I always think about the one time I told a joke about Aunt Minnie at the table with me and AJ, and I just out of nowhere got slapped in the back of my head harder than I ever got slapped in my life. And it was this nigga right here, and that shit to this day is hilarious to me because the joke was superior. And that nigga just so happened to catch it. I know he had a chuckle, but he had to get me one good time. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of relationship that we got, man.
Damn.
AJ got a story like that playing around that dad house.
I definitely
Thinking shit
do.
sweet.
Definitely do. But yeah, tell us what's up, man.
Well, okay. Well, let me see. How should I do this? I guess I could just say where I'm at. You know,
man.
I know now for me, for my brother right here, we come from a family from Chicago, South Side Chicago. My nephew he spent some time in Chicago. Well, you did too.
Yeah.
He left early. But in that area, South Side Chicago, of course, we know about, drugs and all this other stuff, right? And all this bullshit. But unfortunately, some of us like me went through a real extreme addiction for a period of time. And your point that you made earlier when I was sitting down, you're right about that.
Mhm.
It has put me in a certain spot now where I can see certain people and I can ego catch it real quick.
Mhm.
I catch that shit so quick now.
Mhm.
But I honestly can say that I am thankful for addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful for it because I don't think that I would have experienced the amount of humility that I needed had I not gone through that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Had I not gone through that, because what it taught me. Now here's a person. I got a biology degree. I have, and my nephews and my brother can tell you, like, I'm talking about. Whenever I talk to them, it's like I'm talking out of a fucking book.
Right.
Blah 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 blah. Like a fucking encyclopedia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In terms of like the way he was talking earlier. I 24/7. I was just on some shit, right? But I'm gonna tell you what happened. For me, when the addiction came, it taught me how to respect and love on people regardless, because you don't know where the fuck somebody coming from.
Exactly.
I remember being out there on 12th Street, and my homie, guess we on the podcast. I gotta give another nickname or some shit, right? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Do what you do,
Anyway,
do what it do.
Jameson. I don't know. Everybody know a nigga name.
Well,
It's not going to
Jameson.
Jameson.
But fucking English.
But yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's a good off name to put. Like, ain't no nigga in the hood named Jameson. But like I had one homeboy. You go to the store, he always picking up shit off the ground, just picking up shit. Got the same outfit on like 5 or 6 days ago, right? You pull up and he asks for change, and everybody get into it with him. It's like, oh, that motherfucker right there. He's the drunk and he's that. I know him about 2 years. He did that shit. I drunk with him, got high with him here and there. You know what I mean? Ignorant. I know you can't kind of handle him no more than an hour because we about to get in a fight probably. So just go ahead, be in and out.
Yeah.
And then one day we just had a conversation, and he just started telling me about his background, his military background, the things he know about the world, the politics, all that stuff, his spiritual stuff. I mean, we went down a list. I can't really give you all of the details because I'm kind of trying to remember, but I do know that after that conversation, I told myself I would never judge somebody on how they look again. And even me, considering what I was going through in the hood, nobody knew me. You know what I mean? Nobody knew me, but at the time, I was a bum and all this other shit. But they don't know anything about where I actually come from or what I know. And this hit me one time when I was sitting down in a trap house doing the meth. Doing the meth, right? Doing the meth, the cocaine and all this other shit. Look, I'm free. I like to talk about my shit. I got high than a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I got high than a motherfucker. Through the ground. But
Do the
but I was sitting in a trap house and I was looking at the commercial, and when the Xarelto drug came across the screen, and I went back. I was like, oh fuck, 2008, 2009. I did the PF, the PF dot one, PF 1.2 assays on that. Like I like, oh shit, we was trying to detect the fucking prothrombin fragment and the coagulation cascade, and I started thinking about it, and I said, if I was to say that I was a part of this study, not one of these motherfuckers will believe me. But yet, from what they see, I was just another stupid motherfucker out there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so it taught me not to size somebody up. You know what I mean? Then I used to get drunk. I used to get my ass whooped when I'm drunk all the time. And then I started smoking crack and started whooping people's asses. It was crazy. It's the craziest shit ever.
You sound like the crack gave you superpowers.
He like he did.
When you high, when you high, you alert. You know what I'm saying? You alert, you drunk, you know what I'm saying? You just all over the place, talking a lot, you know what I mean?
You're a punching bag.
Yeah, but more of the story is this. That taught me a lot in life, period. It taught me a lot in life, and it humbled me. So then what happened next is this Alcohol Anonymous stuff, right? And I don't know if many people know, but Alcohol Anonymous, the precursor with that is actually the Oxford group, a Christian group. So it's still like biblical things that is passed over. Yeah. Alcohol Anonymous just kind of like built upon it in a ways where they can just introduce it to anyone and make it more acceptable. But it's definitely Christian ideas. But I would say this. Some of the things that I learned there has forever changed my life. And one of those things was, like they talk about the first step, admitting. Being able to just be honest.
Accountability.
And admit. That has held a lot of us so back because we scared. Either your disappointment to your whatever your father or whatever you're part of, and you just can't admit that is an important step with anything. You know what I'm saying? I know that doesn't fucking matter with the addiction, but being able to admit and confront whatever the truth is. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us young black men, we maneuver around it. We don't confront that.
No, we don't.
Like fuck that. What? Yeah. What? We're gonna sit in there and cry together, nigga? You know what I'm saying?
Kumbaya? You want a kumbaya?
You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna do no shit like that. But it's real shit to do. Like this is my family, so I came out about my sexuality thing, right? And so years ago, that would have stunned me in a way where I was kind of like, I would have thought that hailstones would have came on me. I would have thought that my nephews wouldn't respect me no more, and I would have low key hated y'all because anything that you said, I would have been thinking that it was towards me, right? All that other shit, right? All these different things. But through the things that I've learned now, it's kind of like it's okay to fucking be honest and admit. I think that the fear thing, that is what I overcome. Hey. And the sobriety thing, the things like a fear, the things of like, caring about trying to, live up to the standards. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Things like that. And I guess last but not least, because I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Your time.
Yeah. But I think last but not least, what I would really say, I learned a lot about ego. Yeah. I learned a lot about ego. And that is a motherfucking beast. Because it can look like you are humble and it's still coming from an ego. Yep. In the big book, we talked about how for an addict, we imagine a person as the center player of a stage. And the only thing, everybody else is like, is a player in the stage, and you should do that. You're trying to orchestrate. Everything should be like this. Mm-hmm. And you get mad over time. Well, player number A, you didn't do it right, AJ. You was paying attention to the baby when we was doing the fucking show, right? So I get mad. He should have been doing that, right? I'm exerting control on how I think he should act, right? Or my nephew right here. You only took about 4 shots. Nigga, that was me back in the day. I would have been on my 8. Stupid shit. But what I'm trying to point is that it revealed to me how we fight against reality. Mm-hmm. Being able just to accept reality and not make it about you. Man. That is a motherfucking problem across the motherfucking board. And making it across the board. And sometimes it might not look like it's an ego thing, but it is because if X, Y, and Z happen in your environment, That's what happened in the environment. And even if it does influence you, it is really true. It depends upon how you respond to it
Yeah.
and how you internalize it. So your ego is involved through it all.
That's right.
It is involved through that bitch at all. And so with the addiction thing, it teaches you how to accept reality. Today I had a bad day. That's okay, nigga.
Yeah.
Okay, today I'm over here processing. I'm not in my best mood. Look like I'll be in the corner. Okay, walk through that bitch then. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, like I did, I run to this 24/7. Now that was a little bit too much. I'm happy that they don't do it like I did. But I run it to 24/7. But that is, I don't give a fuck. People say they a man, but motherfuckers are some hoe ass niggas. Like, if you had a bad day, accept it. You had a bad motherfucking day. You lost that motherfucking time. It's okay. You get what I'm saying? If you ain't able to deal with that, then it's like you're gonna always revert to something to cope with it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be drugs and alcohol.
That's right.
It can be some other shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in a nutshell, I've been on a long journey, for some time. And if I can put something else in a nutshell, I am a believer, but I think for me, I work on simplifying things. Just love and respect people. Just love and respect people. Shit gonna go here and there. I might make a dedication. I'm never gonna do this, getting this, and that. But just love and respect people, and then have gratitude. Learn how to be thankful, because we don't put enough energy in being thankful for what the fuck we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, we don't put it in perspective.
That's it.
I don't know. I'm on a whole fucking rodeo. I'm on a new chapter in my life.
You going the fuck off right now.
Well, that shit is on my chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is on my chest. Look, I don't, man. You know what? I'm in a place in my life. I don't fear no man. You know what I'm saying? I don't fear no man. I don't fear anybody's, your perspective, your ideology, whatever the case may be. I'm actually secure within myself, and I have a history of having a relationship with my higher power, and I've learned a lot in that relationship, and I've seen a lot, and so I don't care what people think. I don't care at all, and also, and it's not in an arrogant way. Somewhat, sometimes I get a little arrogant, but it's not it's I don't care, but it's like, damn, this is complex. I'm gonna like,
I think where you getting at with it is, at the end of the day, we all gotta coexist. So if I respect how you live your life and your beliefs, you should be able to respect and coexist with what I feel too.
Yeah, because it ain't
You know what I'm
always
saying?
about correcting somebody and all
Exactly.
and
that. It's loving them where they are.
Exactly.
Loving
in
the
this
person
big
where they
book,
are.
it says something about one of the key things about Alcoholics Anonymous is our tolerance of other people's beliefs. It's tolerance, and so it's like, it's teaching you, like, okay, you can have a disagreement with somebody, but it don't mean you got to fight this motherfucker.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's okay, nigga. I like spinach, you like cabbage.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it ain't that motherfucking serious.
Doodle Brown.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
like, damn.
Yeah, that's the fight. That's the fight that I think
Yeah.
everybody for life is to have. Like, I always say, there's a godlike love and godlike wisdom that everybody is born with as a child, and you gradually lose it by experience of
AJ,
life.
there you go. A born wisdom. He just mentioned. Anyway, go.
Hey, I love. We always do change.
But you gradually lose it by the experience of life, because you're being taught from the disappointment of the elders.
Ooh. I can't fuck with him. I was dealing with Jordan. We must get a revolution in this bitch with the rebels. He keeps saying
real,
shit.
though.
He keeps
That's
saying
real,
shit
though.
that brings me back to some shit that I used to hold on to for a long time. But sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
So I'm saying that makes us lose a lot of the value of a lot of things. You really made me lose my point.
Well, I sum it up in this.
My bad.
God is not mocked. For whatever man sows, so shall he reap. He who sow into the flesh shall reap corruption, and he into the spirit everlasting life. So along that path, the things that we're allowed to be sown into us, the things we pass down, is the things that corrupt us and send us on a path.
And when
You know
you
what I'm
said that
saying?
to me, what I got from what you said, and this will help you probably get it back on what you're saying,
Mhm.
is that we're actually born with a certain kind of, I like to use inclination of wisdom since we had that conversation,
Mhm.
or wisdom, but it ends up getting corrupted by by our parents.
Awareness. Well,
Oh, but not
not
our
Our
just
parents.
the
village.
parents.
We'll say our village.
Other
Yeah, your village,
siblings,
our village, our
because for
village.
instance, y'all probably got around each other and it's stuff you wasn't aware of that he might been aware of, and then you picked that up from him, and then you was picking up stuff from stuff me and Derek and them was doing around the house. So it's passed down through generation to
They gotta bring
generation.
it
You
But
know
back.
what I'm saying?
ultimately, where I was getting was
Yeah.
our attachment to outcomes
Mhm.
and how something should be.
Ah,
Right? Right?
amen.
That's where the disappointment
Uh-huh.
comes from and all these other different perspectives. And so we have an attachment for how things should be, and we have an education system that teaches us how things should be. And not only is that education an establishment, it's also a part of the fabric of society in terms of marketing, advertising, creativity. It's embedded.
Stigmatizing.
It's
Slavery,
embedded.
capitalism.
Yeah, all that.
It's
All that.
embedded
That's sociology for
subconsciously.
your ass, bro.
It's
Yeah.
embedded subconsciously for expectations of what and how things should be. And the journey throughout life, like I've often said, is to learn that God-like love, which is unconditional, which is also connected to a separation from the need to control the outcome of various things. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's, business, however that is. And that's why
Come
it's
on,
so
say the
powerful.
serenity prayer with me.
That's why it's so powerful to say, let go and
Lord,
let God.
Lord, help me to accept the things that I cannot change.
The courage to change the things that
So
I can,
can't.
and the
Wisdom to know the difference.
Yep.
That's all
And
summed
that's
up in
what it
that.
boils down to.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the power to accept the things that I can change, and
The courage to change the things that I can,
the
and
courage
wisdom
and the wisdom to know the difference.
Hey, man, hey, look.
AKA, I'ma just sum it up to what I got out of it. What's the fucking use of whining about it if you can't do nothing about it?
And we gonna
give
call.
it, give
Hey,
it
look.
to God what belong to God, bro.
Hey, look. Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
put it in His hands.
Hey, and
Be
we gonna
anxious
call
over
that.
nothing.
That's gonna be the title of the joint. What he just said. And we appreciate y'all for coming out. You know what I'm saying? That was a beautiful pod. We did. We're gonna
enjoyed
finish
that.
this. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.